welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week is no exception. Skullgirls has finally made with the update. That volunteer is very hard at work. And have you been logging for a Portal 2 mod involving paintballs? Well, they made one anyway. And the most mental of open source gaming projects returns. That's right, Open Morrowind is back with another update.
Vampire the Masquerade is getting a Linux compatible remake, per se. Torchlight 2 shows up on SteamDB for Linux, but don't go losing your head over it just yet. And Tekken is being built in Unreal 4, but Linux support is still up in the air.
Say, have you ever wished you could play Temple Runner in space? Yeah, well, me neither. But Infinity Runner is here to answer the question no one was asking. Unity game developers game engine developers admit that their controller support sucks, and they kinda need your help with the custom configs from Steam. And finally, Sophie Holden pulls out her guns. Bang, bang, bang.
It's the name of the porno adaptation
Baby
as well.
shot me down. And that lovely voice was Pedro Ayers, all the way from Moon, Portugal, with his rage and giggles, and also joined by Quang.
Quang.
The Canadian destroyer.
You need
the
like
beast
3
from
tongues to
Bando.
pronounce my last name.
It's
Also
brilliant.
possibly
So
to be
difficult,
Googled.
Walrus cannot manage it. But together with Shatrealm Dynamic, we form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, let's see what's been going on. Somebody got some new bandwidth, yeah? Hey, buddy? Hey.
Yeah, I got some new bandwidth. Apparently, not enough for Skype to kick into HD since I'm still at, 4x3. But yeah, I moved into the new apartment. It's still a bit empty and echoey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Anything up in Snowland going on?
Oh yeah, to rebuild Franken-NAS.
Ah.
That was fun. One of the hard drives died, so I'm like, oh well, time to buy a ton of hard drives and throw in a ton of hot spares. So that was fun. I found out that Fractal makes very nice cases, so I think I'm going to be going to them for cases from now on.
Legos, man. That's where the hipster
Legos.
action is out these days.
Well, what about you, Ben?
Vinland Actual. If you follow on the G pluses, it's like, okay. My 250 gigajoule drive, 240 actually came in that I picked up for 99 wet stinky caches. It's like, sweet, we're going to build the new Steam box in. Couldn't find an ATA cable in this mothering house to save my life. Found fiber channel controllers. Found IDE, ATA 66. Shit, I didn't even know ultra-wide SCSI 2 had it. No ATAs. Finally ran across one by Wednesday because the only place locally to pick up an ATA cable was Best Buy. All if I'm going there, principle. And by that time, I was like, yeah, maybe I can just install, theoretically, put the drive in there and install over the Ubuntu and dual boot, and that should go right. But it wouldn't, and I knew that. So we'll be doing that after the show. So next week, we'll have a new testing box. And it sounds brilliant, but let's pay some bills, because there's nothing
Say you need to sell some SATA cables to poor suckers who can't find any. You can start up a website if you have a domain name.
Huh?
You can post that shit on HostGator.com.
Pretty brilliant. I mean, just starting at $3.96
SATA
a month.
saviors.
Yeah. I mean, if you need help, they even have a live chat that'll pick up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it'll be a real person.
Yeah,
like, why the hell are you
steamy
calling me?
stuff.
And
But you can get all that stuff: unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth, control panel, script installs, $100 worth of AdWords, all that good stuff for what's that? $3.96 a month.
20% off, $3.96 a month. I think that's
that you might be thinking that's the best you can do, but fuck that noise.
That's
Our
right.
Offer code of seizure tasking seizure Steam Linux Gamecast. Fuck the world.
Not FTW for the win, but fuck the world.
Yeah.
And get 25% off in your face organ. That's going to help us. We're going to get a little bit of that taste and keep this show going. But talking about going, this is our 100th episode, so this is going to be almost the 100th time the horse has had something to do.
Oh yeah, but are we not going to talk about the OBS?
Oh, that's right.
Right, we do have a bit of a PSA.
Yeah, we like keeping you children up to date with all the latest news and goodness. And this is something cool for all you Linux Gamecasty types.
What is OBS?
OBS,
You've never heard of it.
Open Broadcaster software, is coming to Linux. It's free and open source. And for once, a free and open source program will be released on Linux.
It's brilliant. And you're thinking about, what is it? I've genuinely never heard of it. It is, as they say here, I've never got to play with it because I've never had the Windows box, but it does the encoding, the real live streaming, GPU-based game capture. That I want to see if they manage to get it working on the Linux. It's not out just yet. If you hover over here on the Linux you download, it says coming soon, so that could mean tomorrow or 2036. We don't know, and I'm looking forward to all the questions of, why can I run this on my 9-year-old laptop, and how do I audio the things?
But hey, if you want to help them get this on Linux, they are on GitHub. The link can be found on their website on obsproject.com. The link will be in the show notes. Everything will be there. They do have the GitHub, so if you know a little bit about video encoding and GPU, doing it all on the GPU, so...
One thing I definitely want to point out is, I'll put the links in the show note. There are already Fedora packages available along with, I think there's even something for Arch, and definitely a...
Of course, it's in the AUR,
right?
Obviously,
repository for the Ubuntu's and other
that poor one guy who's updating all these AURs. These Arch users can't compile their own code. But yeah, you're right, Ben. The horse has hit its centennial. It's looking a bit long in the tooth. The Steamworks
update
of the week. Tag, you're it.
Balls.
This just came out. Operature Tag, the Paint Gun Testing Initiative. What is it? You never heard of it? The Paint Gun Testing Initiative is a Portal 2 mod. Didn't see that coming. And it's time to think with gels. Giggity. The Portal 2 gun is gone, and it's replaced with something that squirts out two different types of liquid. One type of liquid goes bounce, the other one goes fast. Interesting mechanic. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. Not because I didn't like the idea, but it didn't really seem to change up the game enough for me to spend. It's on sale, 30% off right now, $4.89 wet stinky cashes. Normally clocks in at $7.
This is 100% community developed as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're into that business.
Yeah, it is basically just, if you played through Portal 2, you know what the blue and the orange paint does. So what they did was they took those paint mechanics from Portal 2 and built an entire game mod thing around it. I'm not so sure, much like Ven, I'm not so sure it's actually worth the money, but I may give it a try.
It only adds about 2 to 3 hours worth of content ultimately, so maybe if you need some spicing up for your Portal game, but it's there if you want it.
Yeah, I like it, and they do say it has, all new levels, different voice acting. Kind of curious to hear that. They kind of need to work, I think, a bit more on their trailers, because I had to watch everything very close. I was like, what the hell is this supposed to do?
Yeah. And it does require you to have Portal 2 installed. So if you don't own Portal 2, you have to add those, I think it's $15 to the mod price. Keep that in mind.
You can wait 3 days and pick it up for like $1. Cause
yeah. Goes on sale often enough.
With pain out of the way, let's talk about werewolves in space.
Werewolf bar mitzvahs,
Infinity
spooky, scary.
Runner.
Boys becoming men and becoming wolves.
The Infinity is the largest spaceship ever built by mankind, flung into the void of space to secure humanity a new home amongst the stars. However, instead of discovering paradise, the inhabitants of the Infinity unlocked the door to a long-forgotten nightmare. That long-forgotten nightmare is Temple Runner. If you don't know what that game is, it's on Android. It's one of those runner games similar to Cannibal. Yeah, similar sort of to Cannibal. It released for Linux a couple of humble bundles ago, except this one has a twist. You play in first person, and everybody's favorite, you get a whole metric fuck ton of QuickTime events.
Oh, nice.
Fucking damn it.
I picked this up because I was the fool. I was sold on the trailer, and I wasn't paying much of attention. I was kind of watching it out of one of my eye organs, and I was like, oh, shiny. And this is going to clock in. I think I paid full price, 10 quid. Not too bad. It's currently on sale, 10% off, or you can get the deluxe edition, and I don't even know what that is because they don't bother.
It comes with the art book and the soundtrack.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. No. Downloaded it, futzed with the controls, got it, played it, and I was like, yeah, Temple Run in space. But then
it's bold of them to put a 6 out of 10 review on their main page.
I kept reading and reading and reading. It's like, oh no, there's action sequences. And I was like, fuck, all right, I'll keep on playing it. Make sure you unplug your controller and you're not running it full screen, at least for me, because it was all whacked out. Finally got it, turn left, turn right, and I was like, all right, an action sequence. Nope, QuickTime, the game. Press this button, press this button. You don't do anything. I don't hate the game, but that's not a genre I was expecting. I don't know what's more. That's the word I was thinking. Any thoughts on this, J-Man?
I mean, based on the trailer, I thought it would be like a Mirror's Edgy werewolf type thing, but based on your description, I don't think I'm gonna end up picking it up.
Yeah, that's the whole twist, hook, whatever you want to call it. It's that halfway through the game, your character
you're
starts
playing in a
transforming into
Sonata
a
Arctica
werewolf.
Yes.
Of course, the only way that changes is that it changes the QuickTime events around a little bit.
So, nice.
So from flying in space to flying on Earth.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out whether I should take a 9/11 joke or not. But this is our favorite flying airplanes. It's a building simulator. X-Plane 10 Global. This is 64-bit only. This is one of these flight sims.
Good to see.
Yeah.
It finally got on Steam.
Finally. You can fly a bunch of various aircrafts, from commercial airlines to bombers to gunships and so on. They even the space shuttle, apparently. This is a 64-bit game only. It's $60 if you want to pick that up.
Yeah, but, it's a true contender to Microsoft's Flight Simulator, including the price.
Yeah, no doubt. Look at the price tag on
there's a bit of a caveat, though. If you scroll all the way down to the requirements, you cannot play this on the open source drivers. You need to be running FGLRX or the NVIDIA props.
I don't know.
I mean, no one's really gaming on Nouveau unless they really hate themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're running an AMD card and a recent kernel, without some hackery, you can't install the proprietary drivers. And I mean,
that's what I was going to ask.
99.9% of the games, the open source drivers work beautifully. So.
Yep.
Not looking at this. Definitely looking at 60 quid. Whoa, too much. But this is a flight sim. These are the type of people who's like, seriously have $5,000 worth of screens and controls.
They have like a cockpit set up in their room.
Right.
Yep.
And now those mothers are running Linux. Good on them. Good on that lot. So, new old news, huh?
New old news.
Strider and Shatteron pointed this out. This is from our favorite game, Skullgirls. You might remember them from not fucking making a port after they said they would.
After taking money from their Kickstarter, saying they would.
So then they go, the status of the port.
The
status of the port. Well, here it is. The status of the port right at this moment is rendering problems, audio spotty. So exactly what they said it was last year on the Twitters, right?
It's not abandoned. The PS4 Vita ports are actually using a large amount of the same code. So
I don't know why.
They're more focused on supporting the platforms that their Kickstarter Indiegogo did not mention they were going to support, instead of the ones that they did.
I had to physically restrain myself from jumping in that thread and knocking the Skullgirls dick out of the people posting.
Oh man, the mental gymnastics in this is astounding. Because basically, the gist of it is they had get your key for PC and Linux on their Indiegogo page. They let everyone believe that they would be primarily supporting Linux right off the bat, and they never corrected anyone who seemed to make that point. And then they said, well, the only reason we were going to support Linux to begin with is because this guy, Shake Soda, volunteered. So They made it very clear during the crowdfunding campaign that this would be a primarily supported platform, or at least a supported platform. But really, this was only an afterthought and was included to garner more donations, pretty much. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Basically, that's all they wanted was the monies from the Linux players.
And they have, I mean, in the past year, they've went from, and I would send them a tweeter thingy, which they're great at getting back at everybody. And it was like, so I'm just not even something snarky. It's like, what's the status on the Linux port now, guys? You know, it's been 13 months and they don't respond. Like, no, what do you mean? What do you mean? Never heard of it. What's Linux? Nobody ever said anything about Linux. And that was one of the things in the forums that I just laughed stupidly at, because this guy who was sucking so much cock,
actually,
not that there's anything wrong with it, was saying, they never promised this, and it's a reasonable person is like, here's a screen cap of their fucking...
actually, it was Edward from Chat Realm.
Okay. And
one of our bros.
Then one of this dude comes right back and he's, I'm not interested in clicking links. Your facts and confuse me. That's
no. This thing in the thread jumped out at me. It'll be in the show notes. But this one dude says, "I don't get it. Why would Level Zero entrust their source code to some random Joe on the internet?" To which they respond, "Actually, they interviewed him because they wanted to make sure that this guy could get the job done." I think there's a serious flaw with their interview process. I'm just saying.
And if you're wondering how long does it take to kind of port things, I screamed at G-Money this week.
Ooh,
I was like, sub G-Money. I'm not shitting you, that's what I call them. You ever spent a year porting a game, even way back in the Loki ages? It's like, there's definitely been projects that stretch that long, but never as full-time attention. So take that as what you will. I mean, if there's somebody volunteering to work on it a year long, I don't know, unless they wrote this thing in Moon, it shouldn't have.
No, it's brilliant. They wrote the entire game in brainfuck or false, one or the other.
Yep.
Right now, it might as well be LOL code, man. But exit light,
no,
or
Arnold
chicken.
Enter light.
Oh, so here's
Take
light.
my hands.
Never ever will.
Now I have a little doubt.
Girl.
I have a little doubt regarding the name, the actual name or subtitle of this game, because if you look at the logo on the right there, it says light, sneak, hack, steal. And then if you read the description right below it, it says stealth, hack, steal, light. Combines unique game mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Dudes, what the fuck? Okay, but...
Just a pixel, man. Just a pixel.
That aside, they say it's a unique game with which combines mechanics, atmospheric visuals, and a gripping narrative that breathes new life into a much-loved genre. Combat is your last option, and technology your first. You can evade capture and solve the mystery, or can you? Step out of the shadows and into the light. Okay, so I looked at the trailer, I looked at the screenshots, then I looked at the price, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Because, hey man, really, what you're saying, and I'm looking at this, it looks like they also said textures and graphics are expensive,
Yeah, it does look like it.
I mean, it looks like some work went into it. It didn't look like they cheaped out, but it's not very visually overdone.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can see why people would be upset with the visuals, but this is clearly an aesthetic choice, and I don't think it would impact the game all that much, all things considered. Honestly, the biggest complaint I see from this game, given the reviews and whatnot, is that it's ridiculously short for a $10 game.
Wow. Ridiculous.
45
make sure
minutes.
to...
Yeah, so you may not want to pick that up if you don't like
45 minutes. There was a guy that finished it in like 30, and for $10, it's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks interesting, and there's definitely some potential there. But if they don't have the gameplay to back it up,
well, I think that definitely cuts this game off at the hips. So.
All right,
hack and slashy, bitch.
Hack and slash. So I really hope they don't screw this up, because I remember back from like Humble Bundle 2, Torchlight was there, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome! I can play Torchlight on Linux.
But we're taking a look at the SteamDatabase.info. What we're talking about.
Let's get into
well,
that.
let's get to it.
All right, fine. So it looks like Linux is showing up as a supported operating system. So that could very well mean that something is coming down the pipe. But like I said, I really hope they don't screw this up, because Torchlight 1 for Linux was a mess.
No, it was the most flawless Linux port of not having heads I've ever seen.
Don't go losing your head over this. That's how you get ahead in the game. Oh! But, I mean, honestly, Torchlight 2 is the game Diablo 3 should have been, so I would be really excited if this showed up on Linux, especially with full multiplayer support working.
I think that would be brilliant. I mean, did they ever even get Torchlight 1 over to Steam, or was that just like, whatever?
I hear it's coming, because it has been.
This is all. Yeah, it's also showing activity, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There are some new entries in the history section. If you look in the Steam database, they have created Mac and Linux depots for the first Torchlight 2. So
you mean the first Torchlight?
First Torchlight, yeah.
Take a shot.
So yeah, keep it in mind, and keep your eyes peeled on your Steam libraries. If you see them show up, it'll probably be a 0-byte download for the first few days, as is tradition.
As is tradition, but I really hope that actually materializes. But, you know, the horse is a centenarian now. I think it's deserved its rest. We're going to let it shuffle along back to under the porch. Coming up next, regular news.
For centuries has the horse been let loose upon the fields of Linux, but now it's time for some news.
What the hell did that even mean?
I have no idea. I'm sleep deprived. Sue
You just
me.
like strung words together and hoped it made sense.
Well, it kind of did.
Tekken 7.
Tekken 7 being built on the Unreal 4 engine. Now this actually is a bit of a no-no, because the head of Namcai Namcai Bando, Bandai Namco, that's the one. I have no excuse. I'm just fucking
Namcai Bando.
Bandai Namco was at EVO. He was going to announce this after the tournament, but IGN had to go and spoil everyone's fun and reveal that. So, what does this mean for Linux gaming? Well, as we've seen a couple weeks ago, the Unreal Engine does a bang-up job of having games coded on Windows run on Linux, because this is built into the engine.
Right.
So, there is a good chance that we will be getting a Tekken game on SteamOS. And considering we have very, very few fighting games on Linux, this is very good news. Mind you, Namcai Bando, under the control of Sony.
Show title.
Namcai Bando, yes. Bandai Namco it's a Japanese company. They don't really care about Linux all that much. So there is the question of whether they will actually release a SteamOS version of this. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I think P-Man's even less optimistic.
Yeah, at this point, Bandai is just an extension of Sony. Namcai Bando, yes. They're just an extension of Sony, and Sony hasn't been particularly good towards Linux. Remember the PS3 thing a couple of years back?
Mm-hmm.
Thing.
Yeah.
That and a bunch of filthy BSD users. But I'm with P-Man. I mean, here in the show notes, I just have a giant picture of, I want to believe, but yeah, I'll fall over flat if this happens. But the only reason this wouldn't happen would just be genuinely because fuck you. That's why. Drop mic. Walk out the studio.
Mind you, they are saying that the reason they went with Unreal 4 was because of the engine's portability. So we might there is a chance, at least. A chance in hell
there
we'll
is
see
someone in that company willing to
Tekken
click
game.
export, yes. That
yeah. So apparently Levi Bard, our favorite Unity engine developer, is looking for your
Unity
help.
Ghetto himself.
Yeah, he is looking for your help with Steam controller configs. So if you have some weird controller, like let's say a PS2 DualShock using some generic USB adapter, as is my case,
Or some
If
hacked
you-
up Atari controller.
or a Sega Saturn controller, because there's actually a guy that did that. It's in the comments. If you have some weird controller plugged in, you just configure it with the Steam Big Picture mode. You copy the one of the lines from one of the files. The post will be in the show notes. You can check it all out. Just copy that line that Levi asks for, and they'll hopefully try and get the Unity engine to properly recognize controllers. And if this means Unity controller support will stop sucking, I'm all for it.
I'm all for that. There's steps. First is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah.
It's like dealing with alcoholism.
I know. There's 6 steps to getting drunk, 7 if you live in a caravan. That would be a trailer. But if this helps, good. And Levi has always said, the new version of Unity is going to have massively improved controller support. And this gives me hope because it's better than watching, when Levi was defending that horrible configured Moon device that pops up that makes me go, nope, I'm not playing that game. Can't be asked. So that's definitely a thing. This will be in the notes. Scream back. It's on the G Pluses. You probably have an account, whether or not you know it. Drink some Kool-Aid or some stuff, J-Man.
Well, this is Project Valkyrie. This is a remake of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
So some game you
Beloved
nerds
fan
play,
favorite RPG where you are a vampire and you suck blood.
as opposed to glittering.
Yes. No. This is pre-Glittery Vampires. You might remember this if you were a LARPer back in the 90s.
Or if you had a PC back in the 90s.
Or if you had a PC back in the 90s. Very, very popular RPG. Actually, this was, early mid 2000s Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines
It
came out.
was the
But this is a fan-made project. They were originally working on the Source engine, but apparently that was a bit too difficult. So they've moved on to Unity 3D, and they plan to make some enhancements to the game. They're adding multiplayer, a storyteller or DM mode, full character customizations, and a bunch of old World of Darkness stuff. If you are a Vampire the Masquerade nerd,
Well,
and
looking
are
at this
a fan
video,
of
it
White Wolf
definitely looks
RPGs.
like Unity performance.
Oh yeah, so choppy. My God.
I've
it's
never
like-
played
it's
this game. P-Man, have you?
I never finished it. I remember playing the shit out of the demo, and then when I finally got the game, I kind of lost interest. But it's one of those games that I wish I could go back into, but it doesn't work very well under wine, go figure. Speaking of Unity not sucking, as we were in the previous story, I kind of hope they don't cock this one up.
Indeed. J-Man, did they say anything about the price on this, release date, or anything other than it's a thing?
Nothing about price. I think they can't actually sell it because this is a fan-made thing.
Ah,
So
Yeah.
I think basically you can take either the old game files or they're just re-implementing
okay. You
everything.
can't donate to them until they get shut down. Brilliant.
Excellent.
Until PayPal says no more monies for you.
Yep.
That's a
so
cool
that's
business.
projectbaldery.com, and of course, all these links are in the show notes on our website, linuxgamecast.com/buttsex.
So my baby shot me
it's-
down.
And it's a good thing those links are in the show notes because I was not looking forward to reading that URL. So this is Bang Bang Bang, the new game by Sophie Holden. You may remember her from Rose in Time and that other one I can't quite remember the name of because the game was not very good. Anyway, this is basically Mexican Standoff, the game, where you need a controller. The keyboard inputs are disabled for the game, and besides playing in Forever Alone mode with bots, you can have local multiplayer. And yes, it costs a very round $10 US.
Well, she puts out some fairly creative games.
Yeah,
they may
she
not be
does.
the best looking, but they generally have fairly original gameplay concepts. And
Yep.
This one doesn't look bad. I mean, it's cell shaded and they're
Yeah.
usually
Yeah,
fun games.
she went for
so.
a stylized. She went for a stylized look, and it fits because that way she can sort of save on the assets and the performance on the PCs, and get her game to run on, say, the Ouya.
this honestly looks like it would be a great drinking game at a party.
Yeah.
So, talking about a drinking game, and to people that must actually drink or be high to even think about doing this, and yes, that means it's time for an Open Morrowind update. This is Z31Z, tons of things in here. I mean, this is just a wall of fix.
Yep.
There's no point. It would take us 45 minutes to go through everything. The one thing I saw that genuinely got a smile out of me was they fixed the slaughterfishes detecting the player when player is out of the water. And I was like, that's not a bug.
That's a fucking land piranhas.
Just leave
Are
that
you
in
kidding
there.
me?
You're like,
Sold.
I mean, it's Morrowind. They already have cliff racers to annoy you while you're on land. We don't need slaughterfish. Thank goodness they fixed that.
But remember, you can't spell slaughter without laughter.
That's
Yep.
right. Manslaughter without laughter is no slaughter. That is from Open Morrowind. You got to keep in mind that you do need the original art assets to do this.
And they're piss easy to get it to work nowadays.
It is. Back in the olden days, it was kind of mental, but they are approaching a 1.0 release, so it's going to be pretty fun playing that business, don't you think? But I think that's going to wrap it up for our news segment. Coming up next, we have a bit of an interview for you, Face Organ. So, we're going to do something we have never did in a show, and that's bring on somebody desperate, brave enough to come on, and
That's the one.
that's the one, that's the ticket, and talk about their game. A bit of an interview on how they got into Linux gaming. Who's his face? Terry something.
What he made some game. I think it was like
Hello
Secret
Kitty
of the
Island
Magic
Adventures,
Crystals or some
right.
shit.
Gone Home. That's right. That was his game.
Gone home.
Right,
Gone
yeah.
home in 60 seconds.
Yep, that's my game.
Gone and its sequel, Gone Home. You're
I
drunk.
made Gone Home. I'm the sole author.
No,
That's
we
my
are
work.
talking about Retrobooster,
No, it's not really.
now
I'm
available
probably
on
gonna
the
get sued now.
Steams.
I'm going to get a nasty letter from the Gone Home lawyers tomorrow or something.
That's
Bring it.
brilliant. So, Terry,
Nothing we haven't seen before.
how did you get into programming?
How? Wow. Okay, so way back in college, I got a job in the graphics labs, and I was making like a virtual campus. And then the guy who was programming for it graduated and said, "You're the programmer now." So that's how I got into programming.
Hmm.
That sounds
Concise. I like it.
familiar. That's kind of how I got into LGC, too.
And chat realm, remember that you can ask questions as well. But we're going to fast forward. I heard something that you worked for a terribly underfunded space agency at one point.
Yeah.
Yep. NASA was just about to go bankrupt, and I came in and saved them. You know, I worked things out and did a whole bunch of programming and got them back on track, and they're doing okay now.
So
So,
you're responsible for the
taken care of.
Ares rocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did more of the aircraft stuff. Yeah, I didn't get into that space stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
boring. Kinda. I mean, it's
Very
still
boring.
NASA, but
I'm not going to
Kinda
take
boring.
responsibility for that.
So, Jenna,
So what motivated you to quit your job and ceaselessly work on Retrobooster for 2 years?
Well, I really liked working on the game because it's a good art project, and I'd been at NASA for 6 years, and it was a great job. But you know, I had been there a while, so it was a good time for a switch, try something new.
and
And I figured
and-
my game was never going to get done if I didn't do it full time, so it was just a good time to switch.
why Retrobooster? The whole lunar lander, cave flyer genre. Why did you decide to go with that?
I guess I just always like that genre, and people don't do too many of those games. You get them occasionally, but not very often. And I always wanted one with an actually nimble ship. I was tired of flying ones where, you push on the thruster, and a few minutes later you go, and then the air resistance grinds you to a halt, and then things shoot you dead. So I wanted a nimble ship, so you could fly a lot better. Yeah. That's about it.
Well, we kind of get into Genesis here.
Like
how do you start prototyping something like Retrobooster?
Retrobooster.
So let's see. I think I made like a little pink planetoid in 3ds Max, and then I loaded it up, and I made a little box for a rocket, and I just started working on the physics for like how it would control, because that's the most important part. And yeah, I just prototyped that for a while. And then I added some bad guys that shoot at you, and yeah, it just sort of went from there.
Not bad. Now this is going to be... Go ahead.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Why did you think that voice was a good idea in the trailer?
In the most recent trailer?
Yes.
Oh, just because I did.
What were you on? What were you smoking? What were you drinking?
So what would you have done for a voice? Like a sexy female computer voice, or what?
No,
what were
we
you
got
looking
Mr.
for?
Van Stone here.
Probably a
professional
screeching choir of
voice
people
actor.
in agony, or some 6'7" German ballet dancer. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, voice actors cost money and stuff.
Dragons are
I'm not
expensive.
working on a large budget here. The game's got to make money before I spend money.
You know what? Well, what was the budget of Retrobooster?
There wasn't really
Yeah.
a budget. I just did it.
So did you start out and you say, all right, I'm going to leave NASA and I got to do this full time. I'm going to give myself X amount of months to work on it and it has to be done, or I'm just not going to bother with it, or how did that progress? Did you have a schedule for it? Say, I have to get this accomplished by X.
No, didn't have a schedule. I figured I could get it done in a reasonable amount of time because it was already like half done. So I just quit and finished it.
No, there's a custom engine, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of a Frankenstein engine. I was just typing that in the chat room to someone. So it was OpenScene Graph, which is more used in the Viz Sim industry as the high level renderer. And it was SDL for windowing and input devices, and SDL mixer for sound. So I just sort of glued those together, and it was fine.
That would make Ryan Seagordon quiver his pennies.
No.
When he's not doing that normally, anyways.
I know.
Yep.
G-Money, as I like to call them.
Yeah, SDL was the right choice. That's worked out really well.
But don't you understand? There's billions of other inferior ways to do it that are brilliant. But that brings us to, no, not Unity. The next question. Linux, man. I mean, when we started this, I think you started this around late 2012, somewhere in that area. And Linux was not exactly the bee's knees. Not saying it is now, but what made you go, oh, that looks like a nightmare. I'll do that.
Well, Linux is not a nightmare for programming on. It's great for development. Packaging software is another story. It's a nightmare to package commercial software.
Oh, do
it's
tell.
horrible.
Yes, we do
Windows
have
is
kind
the
of a
opposite. So
packager
Windows
in
is a
the
pain
team,
to develop
so.
on, and it's easy to package software on.
Jordan, I heard you've done a package or two.
No, I've done like half of one, and then I had to give it to my mom because it was really hard.
So, greenlight process.
Jeez.
What is the greenlight process like? Is it just straight up begging for votes, hoping something happens, and one day Gabe comes down and goes, green, deal with it?
Yeah, basically. So with Greenlight, I got on there and got a nice spike at the beginning, and I got little spikes here and there, but I never got huge spikes after that. But what seemed to happen to Greenlight is they started just greenlighting, 75 games at a time eventually. And it looks to me like they're just greenlighting everything. So I got greenlit too.
Bonus.
Was it the Sura that said that your game had too narrow an appeal, or was that Steam?
No, that was Good Old Games, wasn't it?
That
that
was
was
GOG.
GOG. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was GOG.
too niche.
Too
But
niche.
if the press latches onto it like they did with Flappy Bird, then suddenly good old games will want it. So
Mhm.
it's just all about
So would you call
talk about it.
Retrobooster the next Flappy Bird?
No, I think it's harder than Flappy Bird, but it's also not a
Yeah,
one-feature
definitely.
game. Flappy Bird's cool if you just like one feature, but I like more features.
It's more like
I like
Flappy
more
Goat.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, there's no goats in there either.
Or
but
or
yeah.
Tappy Chicken.
Tappy
But
chicken.
there are plenty of physics. So, physics.
Great
Did your
segue.
NASA employment factor into the physics that you see in Retro
Nah,
Booster?
not really. I studied physics ages ago. Physics is just fun, but a game like that has got to have physics. I mean, that's what makes it feel right. I think.
All right.
Well, if we're
Some
talking
games
about
like that have good
physics,
physics, some don't.
I definitely want to ask, why do you have such a raging hard-on for particle effects?
Oh, so when I started the game, I knew there'd be gobs and gobs of explosions. So I figured one thing I've really got to do right is the particles. So I just did custom particles from the very beginning. Just because there'd be tons of explosions. It just made sense.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
And with the controls, SDL, did you run into any major problems with? Because I know P-Man said his moon controller even worked correctly.
No,
and that's not easy nowadays.
Yeah, no big problems. There was kind of an evolution because I started with SDL 1.2,
Mm-hmm.
and then I eventually, made it so I could compile either 1.2 or 2.0, and things behaved a little bit different. And then finally I switched to 2.0, and then they added the game controller API. And now I'm using sort of a hybrid between the game controller API and my old code that came before the game controller API. So no big problems, just sort of an evolution there. But yeah, it's solid. I mean, SDL works really well for controllers.
What are your thoughts on SDL 2 versus 1?
It's just cleaner. There's some things they do a little bit better. I think I had a list at one point somewhere. It's hard to be specific, but they cleaned a lot of things up, and some things behave better, such as full screen support. And yeah, they've added some extra things like the game controller API, and that helps a lot too.
Did you run any issues just dealing with with full screen multi-monitor support, anything like that?
A little bit of trouble with Well, no, I never messed with multi-monitor. I've
works fine on
had various
multi-monitor, which
reports
is
on it, but I
good
only
for
have
that.
one monitor, so.
So
Yeah, well-
now that the entire project is all said and done, if you had to go back and do anything differently, what would you do differently?
That's hard to say. One thing that I'd like to try, like if I was to do a
anything
new
in
game,
particular
it'd be fun
that
to work with more
looking back
people. So
makes
like,
you say, I should have done this. No.
no, not a whole lot. I like the way it turned out. There might be some different places I focused on level design and stuff. Be cool to have achievements now. I still don't have that, but I'd like to put that in.
I saw
no,
that
really,
on Steam
like
you were
the
saying if you got further, you just want to see how it tests out on Steam. If you get good sales, you wanted to put in achievements, but you don't want to put in bullshit achievements like, hey, I've played the game for 5 minutes, or I opened the game.
Or
Right,
go
right.
outside. Don't play the game for 5 years straight.
I'm not going to put in those. It's all kind of based on finances right now. If the game makes enough money to justify putting in achievements, I'll put in achievements. But to do it, I
Okay.
want to build like new flying challenges and puzzles because that's more fun. I don't want to
And
put in UB1.
Speaking of finances, I gotta ask this. The price point. Why so high?
Yeah, some people ask that. I don't know. Compared to like a $60 game, it's not that high, and you get more playtime out of this than a lot of $60 games I've played. So
Yeah, I'm not debating that,
I
but
mean,
$60
comparatively,
games usually
in
have
terms of-
billion-dollar
in terms
level
of-
budgets, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming Retro Booster didn't have that big a
wait, when you
budget.
buy a $60 game, are you paying just to support the fact that they invested tons in it? Or are you paying it because you get to play it for a long time?
Well, usually with a $60 game, you're doing a AAA price lock-in because that's what they cost. Now, if you look at
Yeah.
something that is like $9.99 with a long replay value, like, I don't know, Goat Simulator, another indie
Guacamelee,
game.
Or
something like that.
Rogue Legacy, or
FTL.
Bionic Dues, FTL.
Do you think we'll be seeing maybe some sales, maybe 25-30% off in the future, maybe, hopefully, possibly?
Oh, there's always going to be sales. Yeah, I'll be doing that.
That's
I did
good
some
to
of that
hear.
already
Good.
before it released on Steam. There's always going to be sales. Just a matter of time.
All right.
Now, are you ever going to make another game? Has this horrified you, and did the wife walk up and just, no more?
No, I'd make another one if I had the time and the resources. They're fun to make. They're like really big art projects with a lot of math.
Would you
Like
make
the-
another cave shooter, or would you go with another style of game? Do you think?
I'd probably do something different. My best idea right now is like a puzzle game where you play multiple characters, and then it gets
So
weird.
sort of like Lost Vikings or Trine or some such.
Along those lines, but then it gets weird.
Define weird.
How so?
Well,
Jesus,
I just
Shazam.
tell you how it gets weird, then
are
I've
they all
given away
penis
the whole
tentacle
thing,
monsters?
right? Can't just tell you how it's going to get weird.
Marketing, ladies and gentlemen. Cha-ching.
Market research. How do I make it weird?
Okay, I think we've wasted enough of Magumbo's time. How long have you been watching this train wreck? You're always in
Quite
the
a
chat.
while.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
hey, there he
I
is.
think I discovered you guys when I did my first big press push. You know, because I wanted to start marketing my game, so I discovered lots of new sites, and I watched this one night, and I was like, wow, those guys have really foul mouths, and I've sort of been watching it since then.
Well, that was
never
a selling
heard
point
such
if I ever
profanity.
heard one.
Can't stop watching.
No, it's been fantastic, man. Thanks for coming on. This is brilliant. And since this is going to be in the show, coming up in the show, we are going to be throwing chairs at this man's hard work. And I'm sure he will never speak to us again. So
I will probably not.
Happens.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be the first game developer we've pissed off to the point of never wanting to speak with us.
This week.
Yep.
So, brilliant, man. Thanks for coming on, Terry.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Die on a fire.
Yeah, you too.
Off the tails, get it? From our review with Terry Welsh. It's Retrobooster. You can check this out at reallyslick.com. It's built on a custom engine using STL and C++. And you can pick this up on reallyslick.com or Steam for $17.99 wet stinky bucks or $12.99 space euros if you live in space Europe. What is it? It's a reinvention of the Cave Flyer for players who love games of skill. You control an extremely responsive ship, which opens up new possibilities for speed flying challenges, puzzles, and bullet hell scenarios. This game is set in 1980s difficulty. Survive if you can. And of course, every game that comes on the next GameCast faces the Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's crap, 2 chairs means that it's meh, 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means shut up, take my money, I love it, it makes me want to jizz in my pants. Of course, we have our categories of doom mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and foodness. So, Ben, let's kick this off. Mixed with the working, Retrobooster.
Take a look at this business because it did make with the working. I had no problem with it. There was 4 chairs of awesomeness in this business. I loved it, and we ran it on our minimum. If it runs on this, it'll run on anything. Ubuntu 1204, 32 bits, so fuck you, that's why. System of Mightiness, dual 770 powered, ran like a charm, so I'm going to have to give this 4 chairs. J-Man, what did you throw in its direction?
Yeah, I threw my 1090T 670 powered this computer at it, no issues. And I threw my A10 5800K APU Steambox at it on the open source drivers, no issues whatsoever. 4 chairs.
And for me, on the calculator with a 5650 HD and an Intel i3 370M, it ran stupidly well out of the box, no problems whatsoever. 4 chairs.
All right, that's 4 chairs from Mixed with the Working. And holy shit, we made it through this segment without Skype crashing. Coming up next, Shiny and Sounds.
Let's take a look at these shiny and sound. Shiny, yeah, it's there. And I like to call this particle effects, the game. Because it's kind of a bad sign when, your backgrounds and your particle effects really outshow the one thing that you're constantly staring at, and that's the ship. Again, love the soundtrack. Terry told us in the interview, a guy he knows did a fantastic job on it.
Yep.
But the best I can do for the Shadians, because it's a quasi, throwback with 3D and all that, middle of the road here, I'm going to give it the 2 chairs.
To be perfectly honest, I didn't really notice all that much of the sound because I was too busy going shit, 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 as I'm trying to frantically adjust my course and not smash into shit. As for the looks, the game is middle of the road for that. Like Ven said, the explosions look pretty good. The models and the backgrounds are a bit flat, but keep in mind this is a one-man game, so the fact that they look that good to begin with is something to write home about, I would suppose. So I'm gonna give that 2 chairs for shiny and sound.
Personally, considering most of the game was done by just Terry himself, I'm willing to give him a pass on the ship looking kind of bland, even though he did work for NASA. But yeah, more often than not, the enemies will be off screen as you're trying to get some distance to avoid some of the shots. And you kind of have to guess where they are to shoot them down without getting too close. So I have to ding it 1 chair for that. That means a total score of 3 chairs for the shiny and sounds.
All
For
right,
me.
so that's 2 chairs for shiny and sounds. And Skype is still stable, unlike the handling in this game. Ven controls.
I used the Xclone controller. It worked out of the box. Didn't have to configure anything, which is always nice. You can remap.
Always a sign of
always
SDL.
remap the controls. That's what I was like, oh, I know what this is using. They were, the controls themselves, this is something that I figured you'd really want to sit back and play with a controller and scream at it. They were tight and responsive, unlike your mum. They worked fantastic for just navigating the puzzles and all that with your retro boosting, your retro rockets, giggity. No issues with that. I've been playing this game for a long time. I've got to where I just speedrun the levels. Where they fall apart for me. And this doesn't kill everything, but when you get involved in a bullet hell type thing, when your enemies are all around you in the moon universe and you just pew, 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 they don't work all that well for sorting that business out. They'll get you killed to death more often than not. So the best I can do is going to be 2 chairs for that. J-Man?
Yeah, the physics in this game are very much a blessing and a curse because it's a very well implemented physics engine and everything works the way you'd expect it to. But at the same time, you're also fighting real-world physics when you're trying to maneuver your fantasy spaceship through rocks and enemies and what have you. This is a tricky section, like I said, because the controls are actually fairly spot on, but you require ability and coordination to effectively use them. And that really only comes with practice. You have to play this game a whole fuck ton in order to get the gist of the controls and use them effectively. And I know I just still go little bit of thrust, little bit of thrust, little bit of thrust. Find the ground, shoot everything, little bit of thrust, little bit of thrust, little bit of thrust. Mind you, I'm not particularly good at this game, but I'll give it 3 chairs for controls because that's what it deserves.
Yeah. With my nowadays not so very well supported PS2 DualShock controller, although that may change in the future as more and more people start to use SDL2, as is the case with Retrobooster, because it kicks several kinds of ass. Everything was properly mapped, everything was sensibly mapped, and I really can't complain. The controls themselves are absolutely tight. Yeah, it can be a bitch to navigate through the teeny tiny narrow corridors while shooting at enemies in all directions, but it is the proper kind of difficult, and I can't really bring myself to get a chair for that, so 4 chairs for me.
All right, so that's 3 chairs for control, and finally, Foon. Ven, did you have fun playing this game?
Terry, I love you. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way, okay? You're my bro.
It's a qualifier. That's a qualifier.
That's like starting a sentence, but like,
That being
I'm
said,
not racist, but
Yep.
the gravity mechanic, it's in there. It's annoying, and it's inconsistent. While your ship and the lemmings, or the people thingies, are affected by this gravity, the baddies, they have moon technology, or they just stick to shit. And I was like, come on, because you can't, I mean, the gravity's slight, but it is a definitely, I'm always having to refactor for this and refactor for this, which I understand adds to making it fuck you hard, but then we have to get to the price. 17.99 wet stinky caches. And that's almost 2 goat simulators of endless fun. Now, this game can be endless fun. It can be endless frustration. For me, it wasn't frustration. We were talking during the interview. Might have got that in the recording. I've been playing this game for almost 2 years now. This is nothing new. I'm good at it. But there's just some things that I felt that were lacking to make me go, ooh, you know, I want to play this 3 or 4 times a week. I normally only play this game one time. It's like, here's a new version, try it. And I was like, yeah, try it. And I was like, yeah. If it was $4.99, I would give this 3 chairs. But at $17.99 wet stinky caches, I'm going to say try before you buy. Go to Really Slick, download that demo, make sure this is your cup of chainsaw, because if not, you're going to be very, very stabby. So for me, I'm going to give it 1 chair with an asterisk, an asteroid, an astro, whatever her name is from Fringe.
Jessica Nicole.
J-Man.
yeah, I have to agree with Pedro. This is like the kind of hard where you realize there's not really any cheap shit. You realize that everything when you do bad, it's your personal failing. and I find myself going back. It's like I need to like walk away for 10 minutes, and then I come back and I start trying to figure this out again, because it's one of these things where it's like, this is weird, but I should be able to do this. And it's enough that it keeps bringing me back to at least attempt the levels again and again and again, despite the fact that I die horribly.
Angry gets shit done.
Angry gets shit done, and I mean, like after a couple levels, my heart was like racing when I successfully completed them, because it's like shit, and that's basically what this is. Shit, the game. Like Ven said, the physics can be a bit crazy at times, and like I said before, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. And the other thing I have to note is that the guys you're rescuing are a little bit suicidal. Terry says it's because I'm terrible at the game, but they like run directly under my ship while I'm trying to land it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're trying to kill themselves there, so I'm gonna give that 2 cheers.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's the proper kind of difficult, and it may not suit everyone's taste. I can see that, but for me, it's spot on. It does not get the perfect score for 2 reasons. One of them is that the later levels sort of have a spiral design to them. So you're going to be going around and around and around inside a really teeny tiny asteroid, and you go around and around and around. And that makes me slightly motion sick. It's not as bad as that game.
How many liters of puke?
No. That game, what was it called? And Yet It Moves. That one was pretty bad. I couldn't play that for more than 10 minutes without dropping it. This is not that bad, but it is very much there. And then, like Ven said, there's the price. Terry, $10. $10 is the ideal price for this game. 10. Just not even 5. 10. 10's pretty good. So for me, it only gets 2 chairs.
So that's 2 chairs for fun when we total, or that's 1 chair for fun when we total that all up.
Yeah.
We tally everything up and averages out. That's 2 chairs overall, which if we go back to our Chairquisition guidelines there, Union 707, it's not sure if wants, but that is with an asterisk. Because, in my opinion, this is actually a very fun game. It's just a matter of, yeah, the price point is a bit steep. I understand that Terry quit his job to finish this game and wants to recuperate some of that money, but charging $20 for this game is not worth it, even though it does have quite a bit of replay value.
It does, and it has a lot of levels. All things considered, as far as indie games go, this one is one of the most complete.
Yeah,
And
if this was $10, you'd get a lot of bang for your buck.
yeah, a lot. But at this price point, really get the demo if you like it. Sure, give Terry some money. Hell, we commend you for that. But if not, no one's gonna blame you.
I'm kind of with that business. Could have been a 3-chair game. And to be honest, we're not terribly price sensitive. And full disclosure, like most games that we review, we get keys. But I keep that in the back of my head. And I was like, would I pay for this? And how angry would I be if I didn't like it? I do like the game. I don't hate it. It's not necessarily my thing. But as we've all said, this one is definitely try before you buy, because that is an investment for an indie game. That's just what it is. What do we got up next, J-Man?
Coming up next, hate mail and racism. And more hate mail and slightly less racism and a light sound.
So with a slight ego boost, courtesy of Victoria Illidan from Shout Realm, we bring you the hate mail for this week. And just as a quick reminder, if you'd like to get in touch with us, go on over to LinuxGameCast.com, click that lovely contact button on the nav bar there, fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're perhaps smarter than a bot, and, we'll get right back in touch with you, unless, of course, you're trying to promote your Indiegogo, Kickstarter, whatever crowdfunding campaign you got going on, or even Steam Greenlight. Well, that's still a thing. So if you are, you need to send us a prototype for your game. Otherwise, not only will we not disclose your game, we will probably make fun of you. Sound good? Alrighty then.
No,
so what do we got
doesn't
this
make
week?
any sense.
Alexander A talks about something we were screaming about last week. That was low FERPs.
Interstellar Marines.
Yeah, it's weird how you guys are getting low FERPs in Interstellar Marines. When you set up, I've been able to keep a solid 60 FERPs with all graphical options selected and shadows on high. My setup is almost identical to Sandy's, but I have a single GTX 760 using 33138 driver and an Intel 467.
So completely different from Sandy's. Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's almost the same except for the graphics card, the processor,
CPU, the RAM, the hard drives, case, power supply. But otherwise it's the exact same thing.
All I can say is, I mean, the developers disable compositing. It's like, yeah. It's Unity. It runs like shit, man. I mean, unless you really know what the fuck you're doing. And clicking export is not the solution to that business. Up next, Brock York.
Yeah, he's talking about Dust Force. He says, "Didn't even realize I had Dust Force in my Steam library till I watched this episode. Yet another good ep, kitty face." So yes, as the description might suggest, I think you might have been in a coma, considering Dust Force has been on the list as a 0-byte download since Steam came to Linux.
No, it went away for a while. I'll give them that. It was a couple of months they took it down and they brought it back up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around forever, man. That's no excuse.
I'm digging it. Thanks for watching the
sorry,
show.
Brock.
Getting that business. But Monster Cameron wrote in. You might know him. Man, I want to host LGC. Cameron, that's racist. Okay, it's just.
How dare you bring that kind of filth onto this wholesome, family-oriented show?
I know, right? And I also know. Cue that music, because that's the end of our
segue, man.
big 100. Fuck you, that's why episodes of LGC Weekly. I'm Vince Stone. You can always find me at Vince Stone plus Vince Stone on the Twitter nets, and this asshole, this Jew.
Ah, yes, you can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Svung on Google+, because I am Jordan.
And I am Peter Mateus. You can find me at unaccounted4 on Twitter or plus Peter Mateus on Google+. Yeah.
And you can always find us live Most times around 9:30 Eastern Standard Moon Time or Eastern P Moon Time, or whatever that is. 2:30 in the morning if you're in Moon, Portugal. And always check us out during the week. We are in Chat Realm Static. We want to thank everyone in Chat Realm Dynamic talking to us live. But the other
Being
6
patient
days
with
of the
this
week.
train wreck this week.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're screaming that business. But I guess at the end of the day, lovely people, we need to just end it like we always do.
By flipping people off.
Die in a fire.
Bando Namcai.
Bando.
Namcai.
Namcai.
You all
Bando
fucking
Namcai.
suck. I hate you all. Get AIDS.
You're such a loving man, Jordan. I mean, when I think about love and caring, I think Jordan Quang.
Yeah, Jordan Kong all
And
the
killing
way.
Jesus.
Killing Jesus.